Hi, this is a quick look at the Seiko SSB033, a chronograph which uses Seiko's VK63 MecaQuartz movement. As you can see here, it's fairly average size, 41mm diameter by 47mm lug to lug, but because it's a quartz chronograph it's only 12mm thick, and on the 20mm strap included it's only 69 grams. There's two things that distinguish the MecaQuartz from a standard quartz chronograph, and the first is that it has two motors, one to drive the hours, minutes and seconds of the regular timekeeping, and the second one, which runs at a higher frequency, to drive the chronograph hands. Here we see a regular quartz chronograph movement with the chronograph second hand ticking along at 1 Hz, compared to the MecaQuartz ticking at 5 Hz, which produces a smoother sweep, although not quite as smooth as the 8 Hz ticking of, for example, the Miyota 9100. One thing I'm not so keen on is the chronograph minutes hand is continuous, meaning it doesn't jump every minute, it moves smoothly between the minutes. Makes it a little bit hard to read the minutes exactly. The case is almost entirely polished, apart from the tops of the lugs and the screw down case back. It's a fairly uninteresting case back, just has the Seiko logo, water resistance and movement number and the serial number really, nothing else. The chronograph features are obviously the main point of this watch, and they're fairly standard layout. Start-stop at 2, reset at 4, minutes on the left at 9, though it's worth noting that subdial at 3 is not actually the chronograph hours, it's just a standard 24-hour time that tracks the main hours hand. The Mecha part of the name comes from the way that the hands are reset in the chronograph. It uses a cam system to reset the hands instantly rather than using the motors to spin them round back to the 0 positions. This also means the buttons are rather clicky when you press them, as opposed to quite mushy on the standard quartz chronograph. They also require quite a bit more force to push than standard chronograph buttons. As with the chronograph layout, the crown operation is fairly standard. First position, pull it out to adjust the date wheel, which unfortunately only adjusts in one direction. And as with most quartz movements, when you pull the crown out to the second position to adjust the time, the second hand stops, so attacking, and luckily the hands move quite in a low gear, so they're easy to set accurately, although it does mean if you need to make large adjustments to the time you're going to be spinning the crown for quite a while, though fortunately since it's quartz these shouldn't happen too often. This strap's fairly nice, it's calf leather, reasonably thick, not horribly plasticky, quite flexible, so it doesn't really need much breaking in, to be honest, it's quite nice. The steel buckle is signed, and like most of the case, it's also quite highly polished. The lume is okay. I mean, comparing it here to a Seiko Orange Monster, obviously it's not going to be as bright as this, but as you can see when we speed it up a bit, it fades quite quickly and it's fairly dim, although you can still read it just about. And finally, of course, here's a shot of the watch on my wrist. I got a 7.5 inch wrist, so it fits quite well, doesn't overhang and is generally quite comfortable. So there we go, hope you enjoyed this look at the Seiko SSB033.